Welcome to Streaming News Network, where we deliver balanced reporting with the facts that matter. This edition is hosted by Claude McDaniel. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel and this is Streaming News Network. We begin with our first report. The New York Times has been ordered to pay millions of dollars in damages after an Alabama jury found the newspaper defamed former University of Alabama basketball player Kai Spears. The 8-person jury awarded Spears $9.25 million following a 9-day trial. The case centered on a March 2023 article that incorrectly identified Spears as being connected to a fatal shooting investigation involving another Alabama basketball player. The Times later issued an editor's note acknowledging the mistake and reported that Spears was not the person present at the scene. The error led to a defamation lawsuit filed by Spears, who was an 18-year-old freshman player at the time. During the trial, the reporter who wrote the story acknowledged the article contained a mistake. The newspaper said it disagrees with the verdict and is reviewing its legal options. This marks a significant legal setback for the New York Times, which had not lost a defamation case involving one of its articles in more than 50 years. This is Streaming News Network. A California father has been sentenced to 15 years to life in state prison after pleading no contest to the murder of his 9-year-old autistic son. 34-year-old Nicholas Jones entered the plea Wednesday and admitted that he was armed with and used a weapon during the crime. Jones was charged in the November 30, 2024, shooting death of his son, Princeton. Authorities said the boy suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the head while in his grandparents' yard near Compton. Sheriff's deputies quickly identified Jones, the boy's biological father, as a suspect. He was arrested the following day and had remained in custody. Princeton's family described him as a bright, loving child with a warm heart and infectious smile. His mother said she was devastated and did not understand what had led to her son's death. Family friends also remembered the father as someone who had been actively involved in his son's daily life. The case has left Princeton's family and community mourning the loss of a young life. This is Streaming News Network. The National Football League may eventually have a team based outside the United States, according to Commissioner Roger Goodell, who says international expansion is a matter of when, not if. Goodell recently said that he has no doubt an NFL franchise will one day operate in an international city. The commissioner has also expressed interest in bringing major NFL events, including a possible Super Bowl, to locations around the world. The league has been increasing its global reach with more regular season games played overseas. Beginning in 2027, the NFL has approved expanding to as many as 10 international games per season. The 2026 schedule is expected to feature games in cities including London, Melbourne, Rio de Janeiro, Paris, Madrid, Munich, and Mexico City. While Major League Baseball, the National Basketball Association, and the National Hockey League already have teams outside the United States, the NFL remains the only major American sports league without an international franchise. As football continues gaining popularity worldwide, league officials say a global NFL team could become a reality in the future. I'm Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. A deadly attack at a Swedish high school has left one person dead and 3 others injured. Police say an 18-year-old man armed with a sword attacked students Friday afternoon at Brunell High School in Fagersta, a town in central Sweden. Officers responding to the school shot the suspect and took him into custody on suspicion of murder. 2 teenage boys were reportedly among those seriously injured, while a third victim was treated and released from the hospital. The school had recently reopened following summer break, and for some students, it was their first day back. The school was placed under lockdown for approximately 5 hours, while several nearby schools and public buildings were also temporarily secured. Local authorities described the community as deeply shaken and said their immediate priority was supporting students and staff. Reports indicate the suspect may have been a former student at the school and had a previous assault conviction. Authorities are investigating possible social media activity connected to the attack. The incident comes after previous deadly school violence in Sweden, including a 2025 shooting in Örebro that killed 10 people. I'm Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. Construction on President Donald Trump's proposed $400 million ballroom at the White House can continue for now, following a temporary order from Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. Roberts signed the order Friday as the Supreme Court considers an emergency appeal from the Trump administration. Lower federal courts had previously ordered construction to stop, ruling that the project required approval from Congress. The dispute centers on the administration's authority to proceed with the major White House renovation without congressional authorization. The Chief Justice's action does not represent a final decision by the Supreme Court. Instead, it temporarily allows construction to continue while the justices consider the legal challenge. The ballroom project has become the subject of a broader debate over presidential authority, government spending, and the limits of executive power. The Supreme Court's eventual decision could determine whether the project moves forward under the current plan or faces additional legal restrictions. This is Streaming News Network. A Texas appeals court has dramatically reduced a $50 million judgment against InfoWars founder Alex Jones over false claims that the Sandy Hook school shooting was a hoax. The Texas Third Court of Appeals ruled unanimously that Jones can be required to pay approximately $6 million under state laws limiting certain damages. The court left intact more than $4.1 million in compensatory damages awarded to Sandy Hook parents Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis for defamation and emotional distress. However, more than $45 million in punitive damages was reduced to $1.5 million. The ruling does not overturn the finding that Jones defamed the families. Jones called the decision a major First Amendment victory but said he plans to continue appealing. The ruling also does not affect a separate $1.25 billion judgment against Jones in Connecticut involving families of the 20 children and 6 educators killed in the 2012 shooting. The financial judgments have contributed to Jones and his company facing bankruptcy and liquidation proceedings. Despite the Texas reduction, the broader legal battle involving Jones and the Sandy Hook families continues. This is Streaming News Network. Liberia has received its first group of deportees from the United States under a new agreement allowing the West African nation to accept as many as 1,200 foreign nationals over the next year. Liberian officials said approximately 20 people arrived Thursday, most from Latin American countries including Venezuela, Cuba, and Colombia. Officials said many of those transferred to Liberia had sought protection from being returned to their home countries because of concerns they could face torture or other abuse. Liberia says the individuals are not being prosecuted as criminals. They will be allowed to leave the country if they choose, or they can apply for asylum. Officials also said Liberia will not return anyone to their home country while a pending protection claim is still being considered. The flight reportedly departed from Louisiana, stopped in Senegal, and then arrived in Liberia's capital, Monrovia. Liberia is expected to receive support for managing the program, including assistance with its migration system. The United States has provided $5 million this year for migration management activities. The agreement is among several arrangements the United States has reached with African nations as the Trump administration expands its deportation efforts. I'm Claude McDaniel reporting for Streaming News Network. This is Streaming News Network. Americans traveling to Ecuador are being urged to exercise increased caution as authorities warn about violent crime, kidnapping, extortion, and terrorism in parts of the country. The United States has issued a Level 2 travel advisory for Ecuador, citing murders, assaults, armed robberies, and kidnappings associated with organized drug trafficking. Officials specifically warn that American citizens and lawful permanent residents have been victims of kidnapping and extortion. The heightened concerns include parts of Guayaquil and the coastal provinces of Manabí and Santa Elena. However, popular destinations including Quito, Cuenca, and the Galapagos Islands are not currently classified among areas where Americans are advised not to travel or reconsider travel. The advisory also warns that demonstrations can block roads and disrupt transportation and essential services. Officials caution that assistance may be limited in remote areas of the country. Ecuador remains a popular destination for American travelers, who represented roughly one-third of international visitors in 2025. The latest warning comes as U.S. officials continue updating travel advisories for popular destinations across the Caribbean and elsewhere. This is Streaming News Network. Prince Harry, Elton John, and 5 other prominent figures have been ordered to make an initial payment of approximately $13 million toward the legal costs of a British tabloid publisher. The ruling follows their defeat in a high court case against the publisher of the Daily Mail over allegations of unlawful information gathering involving stories published between 1997 and 2015. The group must pay approximately £9.5 million, or about $13 million, by August 28. The court emphasized that this is only an initial payment and does not represent the final amount. The publisher has estimated its total legal costs at approximately $47 million, although the court described that figure as exceptionally high. The judge also criticized the claimants for presenting their case on an excessively broad basis, while noting that some of their arguments had substance. The lawsuit included allegations involving phone interception, tapping, and obtaining private records through deception. The court rejected those claims, ruling that the group had not proven the information was obtained unlawfully. Other claimants included actress Elizabeth Hurley, actress Sadie Frost, campaigner Doreen Lawrence, and former politician Simon Hughes. Prince Harry has previously pursued other legal actions against British tabloid publishers, making this another significant chapter in his long-running battle with the British press. I am Claude McDaniel for Streaming News Network. Thank you for watching and staying informed.
Thank you for viewing Streaming News Network videos, and also short and special reports. Please like, subscribe, and tap the bell to be notified of additional reports.